Help is a follow-up to a book I wrote in 1991 called Shush, which wasn't intended to have a follow-up, but I wound up writing a first follow-up in 2012 called Keep Out, and my publisher kept saying, can't you do a follow-up? And I thought, well, it's a standalone title. But actually then I did come up with an idea for Keep Out, and when I say a follow-up, it's not really, it's a companion volume. And then I suddenly came up with another one called Help. Help is based on the Three Little Pigs and the Big Bad Wolf. And it's very interactive. It's got lots of flaps to open. The wolf has a rather astonishing wardrobe of clothing, and that becomes quite significant. And that came about really because of the saying, a wolf in sheep's clothing. But I'm not going to tell you more about that because it gives too much away. The reader is telling the story but encouraging the listener to help the pigs in their quest to escape from this big bad wolf. And an example of how a reader might encourage the listener to join in, to be interactive in the story, is fairly close to the beginning. They have to make a decision as to what things might be useful to catch the wolf, and there's a page with lots of different items, objects in it, and the children can make up their own ideas, or they can choose from what's in this barn full of objects. I love the idea that when a reader is reading to children, that they can engage them very specifically, and it helps the reader, because we're not all professional readers. It helps the reader to know what they can say that is going to generate that interaction with the child. And so Shush was very specifically set up with that in mind, and the reader encourages the child to keep going through the book in that particular case, and there are flaps again to open. With Keep Out, the reader is actually reluctant to go through the book and keeps saying, can't we go back, can't we go back, which instantly encourages the child to say, no, I want to keep going on. And in fact, at one point in Keep Out, the child actually has to say please to make the reader continue reading. Help was published in 2015 in hardback, and it's already beginning to have a lot of really positive response, particularly in France and Belgium, which is a big market for all three of these books. But it's beginning to be on a roll over here, and I'm getting photographs from people who've found it in libraries already. And the paperback is coming out this September 2016. So I'm hoping that once it comes out in paperback that it will get a lot of really good response. It's very funny. It is very funny. I can say that, can I? I'm also surprisingly working on a fourth book in this series, though it's not really a series. It's called It's the Troll, and as far as I'm aware it'll be coming out in 2017 in hardback. It's based on the Three Billy Goats Gruff.